What I understand is the Disability Justice Resource Center's acknowledging and honoring former Magistrate Judge Stephen Rao, who passed away. Didn't know Steve Rao that well at that time. This is when he was a practicing lawyer in the Twin Cities before he became a magistrate judge. And I'll get a little emotional when I say it, but it'll confirm in so many ways why he's being acknowledged here in the Disability Resource Center. And this lawyer named Steve Rao across the table, Your Honor, you didn't call me. I don't remember getting a message or anything. You call me, I will represent this family. Well, he not only represented them, but now this was before what's called the Pro Se Project, where we end up hiring an attorney with non-taxpayers' money from lawsuits to recruit pro bono lawyers. Steve Rao, lawyers who would represent people, and whether pro bono or not, because we had all these cases where people, whether it was a Social Security disability issue, an employment discrimination issue, a medical issue, housing discrimination issue, whether it was lawyers, whether it was lack of education, comfort level, competency. I wish you could have seen what Steve Rao said to a group of lawyers. He came to me, Your Honor, we have to educate lawyers. We have to tell them that part of their constitutional promise is to serve all individuals, especially those with disabilities, if we want to give true meaning to the word equal justice under law, so we can give them a comfort and competency level to do that. And so we said, and we aren't going to let them use the word constitutional promise or diversity without including individual disabilities. It changed everything. He would volunteer we started doing back in 2009, 2010, as a number of people, including Colleen Wick and others, know, free CLEs. The true measure of whether we're providing equal justice under law is, will we indeed, and this is really a direct quote from Steve Rao, will we provide equal access to justice in a care and compassionate way for the most vulnerable and needy people amongst us? And if we can't do that, we are not upholding the promise that every lawyer makes and every judge makes to give true meaning to those words, equal justice under law. Not only am I not surprised, but I applaud the whole notion of honoring and memorializing this very special human being and what the Disability Resource Center is doing, because I can't think of anybody more deserving, frankly. People, regardless of their background, their education, their level of intelligence, they can tell when you're listening and caring. And then that's what opens up communication lines. Well, I don't think Steve Rao could speak a word about the obligations of a lawyer and judge without being caring, compassionate. Well, people can tell when you're listening and caring, and then that's when meaningful discussions occur. In 2010, shortly after some of those things started to happen, we started having pro se bar summits focusing on disability to get lawyers and attract judges and lawyers in to educate them on some key things, some of which I was aware of, some of which I wasn't. That is, carrying around unfair stereotypes of people with disabilities and it affecting your behavior. And so then we started the seminars, and Karen's message and those of so many others have really caused and precipitated so much change because you will see now people, because of partly the education about what's stereotypical, unfair stereotypes, assumptions made. It changed people, how it sensitized people